Hey there, it's Sheryl, mental toughness coach, published author, speaker, and mother to a couple of amazing kids who happen to be high school and college student athletes. Today, I am so excited to be here with Horace Obic. Horace is the program director and coach at Kline Soccer. Thank you so much, Horace, for taking the time today.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. It's great to be here today.
Thanks so much. Well, this is going to be a short interview. I'm going to ask you a couple questions if you don't mind, and then we'll wrap it up.
Absolutely. Let's go.
Okay, so when we met a couple weeks ago, you mentioned that you have a philosophy at Cal Magic, and that is to develop the whole player. What exactly does that mean?
Yeah, whole player development really means that you're focusing on individual, that you're focusing on the technical and tactical and physical and mental abilities of the player, and spending significant time of honing those, because the growth opportunities for each child lays in one of those, and they're not always equal to each other. So that's what we mean by whole player.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense, and it sounds really important. So I also wanted to ask you, what are your thoughts on the importance of mental toughness, especially for soccer?
I think the importance of mental toughness is definitely making sure that the players can perform consistently at high performance and quality. And so I think the consistency is really the key there.
Okay, so I'm hearing consistency and quality. That sounds incredibly important. So I wasn't sure if I wanted to go here, but I have to ask you, what are a couple of the consequences if players aren't familiar with a mental toughness framework and they don't really start to implement some of these skills?
Yeah, I think that once the players start to struggle and do not have the mental toughness skills to cope, you can see a lot of loss of self-belief, which is really the start of a downfall. And I think that loss of self-confidence, self-belief, that is something that really is a big hurdle for most players who don't make it. And so that would be what I would say is the biggest.
Okay, that sounds huge, and it sounds to me like you're talking a little bit about confidence, and loss of confidence, as I'm sure you've witnessed, can be a little disastrous out there, and that's something we definitely want to avoid and encourage them to learn how to master that confidence. So finally, I want to ask you, in your opinion, what do you think is the best way for players to learn these skills so they can start to implement them on the field, maybe even in the classroom and for life, but in particular on the soccer field?
Yeah, I think that the biggest really opportunity is the time that they spend with their coach. I think being on the field and interacting through the sport and getting the small doses of mental toughness skills over time rather than being thrown everything on one day. Typically, athletes spend anywhere between 80 to 150 days a year with their coach. So having those small dosages on those days being introduced to them, I think, is critical to really making it stick, and so that the players can have a skill to take with them going forward.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense, and I really want to speak to that point. So rather than having me come out and talk to your players a couple times, we have really decided at really your urging to do a coach's training for mental toughness, and we're going to get that done next week. And I really look forward to seeing you and your coaches and really giving them a complete mental toughness framework so they can deliver it to their players, and it'll be a nice tool for their players to have in addition to all the fantastic technical skills that they're getting from your club. And I look forward to seeing you and all of your coaches next week.
Yeah, we're so excited to have you and visit with us. I think that this is the biggest opportunity in sport, is to have the mental side of the game developed for especially the staff. We're very busy. We go out there and we try to learn as much as possible, but have an expert who's been researching the field come out is really special. So I want to just thank you and welcome you to come sit with us and talk about the mental toughness.
Oh, fantastic. Thanks so much. I'm really looking forward to it.
All right, likewise. Have a nice day.
Thanks, you too.